Perhaps the greatest change in schools today isn't the integration of technology or even about the way our classrooms are being built, or even the changes in curriculum and assessment. And I think the biggest impact, the biggest change area today is the role of the teacher in the classroom, and that it's being transformed in ways that we're not really yet aware of or fully ready for. You know, there's an old saying I like: children are not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be lit. Teachers face the challenge of trying to guide students through individualised learning pathways and identifying relevant learning resources, creating collaborative learning opportunities, providing insight and support both during formal class and outside of class, the designated 40-minute instruction period. One of the issues I see is that as teachers we're being challenged to foster creativity in a system really that's designed to establish conformity. We're being asked to encourage diversity where our system traditionally has had a very single pathway approach. So let's think of some examples of these innovations where the traditional role of the teacher is changing. First up, think about the emergence of what we call about student voice involved in planning, the implementation and assessment cycles that happen in our classroom programs, traditionally something that only the teacher took responsibility for. Then we're seeing examples of reverse mentoring. For example, students acting as tutors for fellow students in programs. We've heard in New Zealand, for instance, the Tech Angels scheme, where students take responsibility for mentoring not only their fellow students but also staff. So then there's also the increasing instance in schools where students provide the assistance in learning through their own leadership and contribution. And then we've got the use of technology to provide multiple sources of knowledge access for learners, including the use of online learning environments and social networking, which includes access to expertise outside the classroom. You know, there are lots of new terms and phrases being bandied about to describe the new role of teachers. I've heard of things like coach, mentor, facilitator, guide. My personal favourite is experienced learner. In other words, someone who can participate as a learner with the students, but who's got the benefit of experience that the student doesn't have. Someone who's been there before and can provide appropriate interventions, suggest more alternative routes perhaps, and generally share from the wisdom of having been there before. You know, if we're going to be successful and effective in the midst of all of this change that's taking place, we as educators need to learn how to become more critically reflective in our actions. We need to be open to examining all of those assumptions and inner beliefs that we have about what we're doing and why we're doing it. And we need to be prepared to change some of those things. It's not a comfortable thing, but it's the commitment that we need to make.